Hello, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well out there, as always. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. A lot of you will be used to my literature videos to help you, but I'm also a language teacher. And a lot of my students ask me the difference between the present simple and the present continuous. So I thought I would make a video explaining the two of them for you. Without any further ado, let's have a look at what we're going to be doing. I'll explain the basics and a little bit more in depth as well. We tend to understand the basics, but I'm going to show you how we use it in a bit more depth as well. So we're going to look at the present simple versus the present continuous, a battle between the two. Let's see the differences. To start off with, the basics of it. We use the present simple with verbs describing states or situations which are always true or that continue indefinitely. For example, babies sleep more than adults. That's always going to be true and it's going to continue indefinitely. We're not going to suddenly have babies sleeping maybe 6 hours, 7 hours a night, and adults needing up to 16 hours a night. That's just not going to happen. So we use the present simple to explain that. We also use it with states or situations, thoughts or feelings that exist in the present moment. For example, this guitar sounds great. There we go, guitar here. Let's have a little set check. Got lost in the moment there. This guitar sounds great. It's happening right now. It's a thought or a feeling I'm having right now, so I use the present simple to describe it. Guitar gone. What else do we use it for? We also use it to talk about habits or regular events or actions. Do you always go for a run in the evening? Is it a habit or something which happens, an event which happens regularly, or an action? If so, we use the present simple to describe it. Okay, let's have a look at the present continuous. We use it to describe events or activities which have begun but not ended at the time of speaking. The event or the activity is in progress at the present time, but not necessarily at the moment of speaking. And this is where I feel my students sometimes get confused. I am applying for a new job. That doesn't mean right now when I'm speaking I'm applying for a new job. It's something that's begun in the past and it's still true right now, not necessarily when I'm speaking. We also use it to show an activity or an event is temporary. For example, my friend, she's doing voluntary work in Vietnam for 2 months during the summer holidays. After that, she will go back to studying. Okay, watch it fall down. Present simple versus present continuous, and this is what we're now going to look at in a little bit more depth. We use the present simple for repeated actions or habits that we do regularly. For fixed arrangements, scheduled events, for example timetables in the future. Things in general which are always true, we use the present simple for. And permanent situations as well. Present continuous, temporary or new habits, we use present continuous to explain these. Temporary actions, trends and situations. Actions happening now or in the immediate future. Definite fixed plans in the future, we'll use the present continuous for. Situations which are slowly changing. And repeated actions which are irritating the speaker. We use the present continuous for these things and the present simple for the things on the left. Okay, let's get into this present simple then. Let's have a look and I'll give you a few examples of how we use it. First of all though, let's have a look at our frequency words. These are commonly used with the present simple tense. Words like always, often, usually, sometimes, seldom, rarely. Seldom's an interesting word. We don't tend to use it that much. Similar to the word rarely. It's a little bit more frequent than rarely, but not that much so. but it's another option for you to use. It's another word to help with your vocabulary, especially in your speaking tests or in your writing tests. I seldom go for a run, for example, or I seldomly go for a run. Never, every day, every week, every year, every month, on Mondays. That idea to show regular habits. Okay, let's look at the structure then. How do we structure our language when we're using the present simple? Well, I, you, we, they, plus the infinitive. For example, I play, you play, we play, they play, or talk, or we go, or they walk. Or he, she, it, plus the infinitive, plus we throw on an S at the end. He plays, she plays, it plays, she talks, it goes. Simple as that. Okay. Here are some of the frequency words we're talking about. Always, often, usually, sometimes, seldom, rarely, never, every day, every week, every month, on Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, on Saturdays, and so on. Let's have a look at how we use it to describe regular actions or habits, repeated actions or habits which we do regularly. So, let's start off with, I drink coffee every morning. Do you? I know I do. Without a coffee, it's very difficult for me to get started in the morning. So it's something that I do regularly. It's a repeated habit, so we use the present simple to express it. I drink coffee every morning. And then there's our little every morning is talking about the frequency at which I do it, or we do it. She sometimes plays football on Tuesdays. Not every Tuesday, but she sometimes plays football. Again, it's a repeated action or habit which is done regularly. Another example for you. They often go for a drink on Friday night. Maybe it's a beer, maybe it's a coffee, maybe it's a Coca-Cola, whatever it is. But it's that idea, it's a regular habit or occurrence that they do. We've used a frequency word often to describe it on a Friday night, but we use the present simple. They often go for a drink on a Friday night. Simple. Let's have a look at how else we use it. So for fixed arrangements, scheduled events, for example, timetables, to be talked about in the future. So, for example, my train departs at 11:37 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, departs. We can use it to say, the science exam starts at 3:45 p.m. next Monday. Talking about things in the future, but it's a fixed arrangement. This has been decided, it's definite, it's not going to change, so we use the present simple to explain it. Another example for you. The concert finishes at 10 p.m. It's been scheduled, it's been agreed upon, so we use that present simple to explain it. Simple. Present simple, you might say. Okay. Also, things in general, which are always true, we use the present simple for. Give you some example. Facts, for example. The moon orbits the earth. This is a fact. It's always true. Unless it's something cataclysmic happens, it's going to be true. The moon orbits the earth. It's a fact. Here's another fact, a little bit disgusting for you. It's a fact. During your lifetime, you produce enough saliva from your mouth to fill 2 swimming pools, approximately 51,100 litres of saliva. A little bit of a disgusting fact, but a true fact nonetheless. This is true, it's always going to be true. Just think about that for a minute. Lovely. And a final thing which is always true for you. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is the favourite old English teaching fact. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It's a fact, it's always going to be a fact, it's always going to be true, so we use the present simple to describe it. Again, simple. Let's have a look at something else. Permanent situations. Again, present simple is the tense that we use to describe permanent situations. For example, I live in Spain. That's true. I'm not here on holiday. I live in Spain. It's a permanent situation for me. Where do you live? I live in Spain. Okay. What else? I play the guitar. You saw it a minute ago. There we go. I play the guitar. You can see it here. That's a permanent situation. I'm getting an old man now, but I've played it for, I don't know, nearly 20 years. Jeez, over 20 years, 21 years, 22 years I've played it. That's a pretty permanent situation, let's be honest. So we use the present simple to describe that. I play the guitar. What else? I make YouTube videos. That's a permanent situation. Now, maybe when I'm 80 years old, I might not be making them anymore. But right now, it's a permanent situation. So, I make YouTube videos. Use the present video, sorry, the present video? Present video? No, present simple to describe that. I make YouTube videos. I'm not boasting about it. I make YouTube videos. Okay, what else? Nothing else? Let's move on then. Going to look at the present continuous. Let's look at that in a little bit more detail. The present continuous. How do we use it? Okay, first of all, let's look at our frequency words. Commonly used with the present continuous tense. Now, at the moment. Look, listen. These are words that we commonly use with the present continuous tense. The structure of it, well, not difficult. We use the verb to be plus infinitive plus ing, ing, ing. So, I am playing. He is talking. She is walking. It is working. You are reading. We are drinking. They are speaking. The verb to be plus your infinitive verb plus ing at the end. And that's how you create the present continuous tense. Okay, let's again, just like the present simple, let's have a look exactly how we use it in a bit more depth. So, for temporary or new habits, again, now, look, listen, at the moment, these days, are kind of frequency words that we use to give a little bit more context of what we're talking about. So, first example for you here. You shouldn't be, but for example, I'm smoking too much these days because I'm stressed. You should never smoke. Don't ever take it up. All these people who smoke, it's a bad habit, obviously. But people who do smoke, it's because perhaps they get stressed and things like this. They tend to smoke more if they are stressed. So, I am smoking too much these days because I am stressed. So the idea that it's a temporary thing. So they are smoking because it's temporary. The reason of that being because they're stressed out. Phrasal verb for you, stressed out. I am learning how to cook Asian food now. At this moment in time, it's a new habit I've been learning how to do. So I am learning how to cook Asian food now. There we go. Doesn't mean right now, at this particular moment, you don't see any pots and pans or a wok or anything, but I am learning to cook Asian food now. So it's a new habit that I've taken up. Therefore, we use the present continuous tense to explain it. Final example for you. She is reading about the English Renaissance at the moment. Okay. Again, it's a temporary or a new habit that she's doing. So therefore we use the present continuous tense to explain it. Now it could be that at this very moment she's reading about it, or it could be more in general. Perhaps she is studying the English Renaissance for a course. Maybe it's a year-long course that she's doing at school or at university. So it's a temporary habit or a temporary thing that she's doing. So we use a present continuous to express that. She is reading about the English Renaissance at the moment. Shakespeare, Marlowe, and all these kind of wonderful writers. Okay, how else do we use it? We use it to describe actions happening now or in the immediate future. So for example, look, it's starting to rain. We have evidence for that usually as well. We can see the big grey clouds above us, and perhaps we can feel the first few drops of water. Look, it is starting to rain. Okay. Another example. Listen, the concert is going to start. Maybe you hear these first few notes or the first bass line or something like that of the music, so you know it's going to start. It's an action that's happening now or in the immediate future. Listen, the concert is going to start. And again, is starting, is going, the verb to be, your infinitive verb, an ing put onto it. And our final example, he is working at the moment. What's Steve doing? He's working at the moment. Don't disturb him. Ah, okay. It's something that's happening right now. Right now he's working. So we use the present continuous to express that. Let's look at our next example. Definite plans. Definite fixed plans in the future. Barcelona are playing football on Saturday. There's little Leo Messi, loving playing football. He's playing on Saturday, definitely. It's a fixed plan in the future. Barcelona are playing football on Saturday. La Liga have had the fixture released for 4 or 5 weeks. All the fans know, not just Barcelona fans, but everybody knows that on Saturday, Barcelona are playing football. It's a fact. Okay, so it's a definite fixed plan. So therefore we use a present continuous to explain it. What else? We are flying to Madrid on Tuesday morning. Again, it's a definite fixed plan in the future. Therefore we use a present continuous to express it. We are flying to Madrid on Tuesday morning. We are flying to America this summer for our holidays. Okay. We're not really, obviously, but if we were and it was a definite fixed plan, then we can use a present continuous to express it. Perhaps you've already bought your tickets or something like this. It's a definite fixed plan in the future, so we use a present continuous to express it. Simples. Final example for you. I am meeting up with Brian after class. Maybe we've arranged it beforehand. We've said, right, when we're finished class, let's meet up. It's a definite fixed plan. So somebody says to me, what are you doing after class? I am meeting up with Brian. Simple. We use the present continuous to express that. Next up, temporary actions, trends and situations. I am living in Rome at the moment. It's a temporary thing. I live in Madrid, but perhaps I'm staying in Rome for 2 months during the summer. I'm studying in Rome or something like this. Listen to how I'm using the present continuous even when I'm expressing that. I'm living in Rome at the moment. It's a temporary thing. It's not happening indefinitely. It's not somewhere permanent. So therefore we use the present continuous to express that. What else can we use it for? These days, clean eating is becoming very popular. Not having processed foods, knowing where our food comes from and things like this. Clean eating is becoming very popular. That idea of the verb to be, the verb become, and ing. It's becoming very popular. It's a trend, it's a fashion. It's becoming very popular. And final example. We are working in a different office for now. Perhaps the office is being renovated. There's building works going on. So we'd use the present continuous to express that. We are working in a different office for now, but this is temporary. We'll go back to our original office in a month, 2 months, 3 months time. By using the present continuous, we're letting whoever it is that we're speaking to know that this is a temporary situation. We're working in a different office for now. And repeated actions irritating the speaker. You know that time, and usually, includes always or constantly. We usually use these words to express this idea that whatever it is, it really irritates us. And it's, these kind of things that just annoy you if you're living with somebody, whether it be a family member, a little brother, or a big brother or sister, your mum, your dad, or a flatmate, or perhaps your girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband. Something that somebody does all the time and it really, really annoys you. We use a present continuous to express that, usually with always or constantly to emphasize how often it happens. Let me give you an example. They are constantly turning up to work late. They are constantly turning up to work late. This idea, they're never on time. If work starts at 9 o'clock, they're always arriving at 9:15, 9:30 or later. So that idea is irritating the speaker, it annoys them. If you're always at work on time, but Miguel's always arriving 20 minutes late, that's quite annoying, isn't it? So we use the present continuous to express that. Another example of something that constantly annoys you. She's always going on holiday. Why it annoys you? Perhaps you don't get the opportunity to go on holiday enough. So maybe it's irrational on your behalf, but again, you would use the present continuous to explain it. She's always going on holiday. I never get to go on holiday. And the final example. You're always ordering takeaway food. Perhaps it's expensive, it costs too much, it's not good for you, it's unhealthy, whatever it is. But you use the present continuous to express it. And notice how all of these have the verb to be, the infinitive verb, and ing on the end. Present continuous to express all of these ideas. Situations which are slowly changing. For example, I am growing my hair long. Now, I've been growing my hair long, slightly different tense, for a number of years. So it doesn't really make sense for me to say. But this idea of a situation which has been slowly changing. I am growing my hair long. Okay. He is losing weight. If you lose weight, unless you do it unhealthily, it's going to take time to lose weight. So we'd say he or she is losing weight. She is getting better at speaking Spanish or French or Polish or whatever language it is. This idea that something is slowly changing, we use the present continuous to express as well. And that's a really good way to do it, and it's really the only way to do it. This idea that something's slowly changing over time, we use the present continuous to express it. So, I hope that this is useful for you. I hope that by explaining the difference between the present simple and the present continuous, with all these different examples, it's given you a better understanding of how to use it. A lot of my learners who are learning English as a second language find it quite difficult, the differences between present simple and present continuous. Even those who are quite good at speaking English do find it quite difficult, these differences. Study these different ways that we use them. Think of different examples as well of how you would use it, and try to be conscious when you're speaking English to make sure that you're using the correct tense to express what you're trying to say. As native speakers, it's really important. Is it something that you're trying to tell us that's a regular habit, or is it a temporary habit? And looking at the different ways in which we use it will make what you're trying to say a lot clearer for us. And this is important. It's important to be concise and clear, whether you're just wanting to learn English to speak to somebody when you're on holiday, or whether you're trying to pass a specific exam. It's important that you're confident using the present simple and present continuous, and to be able to express what exactly it is that you want to say. Well, best of luck with it. I'm going to be creating more of these kind of English language videos, the difference between tenses. I'll start doing videos from phrasal verbs, something that I know people find very, very difficult. I'm going to also be working with caeexamtips.com. You'll see a little link in the comments below. caeexamtips.com. It's a really, really good website for you to practice if you're taking the Cambridge Advanced exams. It's a really good website for you to practice your different skills and to get the best possible grades. So I encouraged you to have a look at it, check it out, practice on that website and get the best grade that you possibly can if you are planning on taking the exams. Even if you're not, it's just good for you to be practicing. So check it out when you get a minute. Well, until the next time, look after yourselves.